Hello. It's the first time I'm trying to do this. This is really strange. Hello, it's Easter, the day of Easter. So I just wanted to improvise a little video. So my first motivation was just an impulse. You know, it is interesting that this morning I was catching up live by Dzongsa Khenchen Rinpoche, who was talking about loneliness, a teaching, a Dharma teaching by this great master. I enjoy very much following his videos. And I thought the video would be a little bit later, and I got wrong with time, which is something that happens to me a lot since I live in the nature. I get a little bit mixed up with the time schedules. And so I noticed he was already online talking, but I could push it up in YouTube. I could get back to the beginning. And actually, he was talking about loneliness. Okay. And I'm lonely in this moment, which is okay. But I'm lonely in a very wild place, as you can see, full of nature, birds, and lots of plants. And I'm taking advantage of this period to not only try to cultivate a few vegetables as the best I can. I'm trying to learn how we do that in a proper way of respecting nature. And it's very interesting and also sometimes tiring, but on the other hand, I'm dedicating much time to studying the yogas of what is called in the Dharma, the completion stages, which are yogas that are a little bit less known by everybody, a little bit more transmitted to people who are engaged in deep practice. So it's very challenging, very interesting. And so that funny thing that happened is that I just decided to do the video a few hours ago, because I started to publish videos on YouTube that are called in English masterclass Yumma, and I thought maybe if I do a live, it may help if I do a live times to have more people following up the channel. I don't know, I'm just trying. And so this master was talking about loneliness, and I was just listening, and it was really, actually sometimes he's also funny, you know. Somebody made a question to me and asked him, should I do like this or should I do like that? And he answered, do both. So I was just laughing, and at that moment I heard somebody knocking at my door. And here there's not very often people knocking at the door, and actually that door is a door I don't really use. It's upstairs. And I was downstairs, and I thought, who is knocking the door now, you know? Actually, I'm here, I'm like a little bit scheduled, you know, I'm going to cook this and do that alone, you know. And then somebody knocks at the door, you know. And then I finally understood. I went up to open the door, and it was a man of my village who is 90, I think he's 95 or 98 years old. He's an amazing man. And his wife is 90 years old, and they tell me lots of stories about how they were very poor, but they were very happy. And at the same time, really, really, really poor. And lots of things at that time that were so different in Portugal. And he was well dressed, you know, and as he's quite old, he has no teeth and only one eye, but he's always joyful and always full of energy and you know, like a will to say and be good. It's really nice to meet this couple. And he told to me, you're alone. Are you alone? And I was just listening to this teaching, and suddenly I have this person knocking at my door and asking me, are you alone? And I thought, this is really a dream, you know. I'm really in a movie here, you know. And I said, yes, yes, I'm alone, but it's okay. He said, no, no, you come to eat at my house. We are with my family and I want you to come. It's Easter. I want you to come to eat. He didn't ask me if I really, I just finished, actually, I was just finishing my breakfast, so I was really not hungry. But he didn't really ask me if I wanted to, you know. He said, no, no, you come now. I said, now? He said, well, you get ready and then you come. It was 11 something. And so I did that, you know, I did go there. It was really nice. So it was really a synchronicity, you know, of this thinking of something, and then that person asked me if I'm alone, and I'm thinking about the teachings about loneliness. And then I'm with them, and it's a very interesting situation. But I noticed that I had a message on my phone, and it was also another synchronicity, because that person who sent a message to me was somebody I was actually thinking about. When I was listening to Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche, I was thinking, maybe I could send this teaching to that person. Her name is Monica, and she sent to me a message just at the same time. So that's it. And now the morning has lifted. It was all cloudy, but now it's lifted to sunshine. And I thought maybe I just talk about something that was a little bit out of schedule, about my masterclass. So if some people are interested in this masterclass, it's quite good to follow them by numbers. So I organized in 3 sections. I'm working on the first one. So it's A, B, C. A1, A2, A3, A4, yeah, like that. And I'm up to A10 now, because this video I'm doing now is out of classification. It's just like that. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing and why I'm talking about Dharma and dance. And the B is going to be exercises. So there will be some exercises that will end up talking directly into experience about what I was explaining in the section A. And the section C is going to be much more about people of the network that are exposing their own experience and their own, excuse me, I'm going to put these glasses, in their own work, how they use all of these tools in their own right, with maybe other disciplines than dance, maybe in music, or maybe in theater, and different things. So that will be the section C. So if you're interested, I really invite you to share these videos. They're called Masterclass Yumma, and they are being translated. What we are doing is that there is like a team of persons who offered themselves. They're all women. They offered to write down in English what I say, because taken from my voice directly on YouTube is not so good. So they're writing down, and that makes the translations then in several languages much better. So we are doing it. It's not all done yet. The one that is all done is the A5. So if you go to this channel, Raji Mudra, on the Masterclass Yumma playlist, you have the 5th one is already in Spanish, English, Italian, French, like that. Okay. So I've been talking a lot about the training of the body and the training of emotions and the training of mind being at the core of how we build the body of a dancer somehow. But the dancer in this case is not exclusively about being a dancer, a professional dancer. It's more about really dancing life in the sense of rooting your daily life into this mind of a dancer. So what does that mean? It means that the body is just a bunch of memories, and this bunch of memories are being reset at each moment. And so how does a memory get printed in your body? It's by the repetition of something or by the intensity of something. So something happens that's really intense, it gets printed somehow, somewhere. And if it is repeated many times, the memory of the gesture or the memory of the smells, the memory of how my mind is getting used to experience that gesture is going to get printed somehow. And it's very interesting that actually, probably that's one of the reasons people who studied since they're a child some discipline are very alive and light, like, shining when they do something, is because probably all this childhood freshness of the life comes back when they do that thing they do since they're young, like singing, or maybe they even not that well in their life, they're getting older, but that shine, that light comes back, it's printed somehow. And so why would we do something like that? Why would we train on our movements? And I also explained in these videos of the masterclass Yumma that actually we're interested in health, and we're not talking of health as a condition about being sick or not being sick, but more as a condition of being aligned, an alignment between what's your true deep motivation in your heart, the truth, of your heart, that thing that somehow you feel is important. And very often what we know is more important is at the moments of challenges, like when we lose everything, or when we're about to die, or when somebody is gone. At that moment, maybe we get a little bit more clarity about what is very, really important for us and what is less priority, what is less worth the time of dedicating the life and this health we have for this, how could I say, enjoy what it is to have a human body on earth. How is it I can use this precious human body on earth? So the health is, I would say, the ground of the training. And why would I take my body and train my body and my speech and my mind to get completely aligned and to be as much as possible full of the best possible of my truth, my presence, my engagement in the gesture, and by repetition. So this is like technique, like you repeat a gesture, and you repeat a gesture with a kind of breath, with the opposite of that breath, and the gesture you can also make it opposite. I will explain a little bit more techniques in the future in the section B. I'm not going to do it now, but it's a little bit like this idea that as you're building this body and this mind that is able to relate to space as non-ending and not beginning either, and in the same time, the place where you are, the space where you are, they do have a geometrical proposal, and they do have there is a sense of time in that specific situation that you are creating by dance or by cooking or by creating festival, whatever it is you're doing. You are like creating a specific theater of space and time, and you train your body and your mind to be immediately present in that because you're used to it. You don't really have to worry that much. It becomes natural. And it becomes natural because of the repetition of the training. You got used to it, And so your brain slowly is a little bit less wandering around, a little bit less. I don't say it doesn't wander around somehow, but there is this training of, in the same time, being present and focused on one point in mind, and in the same time being able to let go. And these two qualities seems opposite, but actually they are complementary. I have 3 beautiful birds around here. As I'm talking, they're going from one to the other. So why would we do such a thing? And it's not, the idea, it's not so much, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. It's not so much that you're trying to be somebody else or to change anything about yourself. It's more that the more your memory printing at each moment, the reset we're doing at each moment, either we are a knowledge in or not a knowledge in that, we are doing that reset at each moment. So actually, somehow, we are always, all the time, no? Like bringing in our body a sense of a memory, of a habit. And if that is going to make me more worried and more sad, maybe in the sense of depressed, or if it's going to make me more selfish and self-centered and more afraid, all these things, it's not a judgment about that, you know. You have the right to be afraid and to be self-centered. It's more that it's not really easy, you know, to fully engage in what the precious human body offers as an experience if our mind is used in the habit, the habitual tendency to have all these kinds of projections, you know, expectations and fears and all that. So we're not trained because we think we should change. We are so training to be as much as possible in touch with the core of our own being. And then also, of course, as an artist, we are interested in being able to directly express something without thinking. Without having to engage a mental process in it. And so that's what the training does, and I already gave that example. It's like driving, you know how to drive, so you're not, you know, you had to learn about it. But in this case, it's your body, so driving the body is much more a great deal than driving a car. And the body is incredible. The human body is such an incredible. It's incredible. It's an incredible gift we have. It's an incredible, not only a gift, but it's full of. Our precious human body is full of capacity to get in touch with the wisdom and with. The expression, the deep expression of each piece of life. We have that not as something that is personal. We have it because the human body has this capacity to get linked with the core of things, of what things are saying, what things are talking about. But of course, if I'm talking about that thing I'm looking at, I don't get it because I am absolutely not in touch. I'm just projecting my own version of it. And it's the same thing with people. If I'm in relation with people and what I am living with these people is more what I think about them or what I project about them or my expectations about them, then I'm not in touch with that person, and which is not easy sometimes, because sometimes we really think we are in touch with somebody and then we end up completely wrong. No? So all these trainings are about that. It is that when you train yourself to get empty a little bit, then you can accommodate much more light, and you also can have a relationship with weight, the weight of gravity, which is going to be lighter. So it's absolutely rooted, but it's not rooted in heaviness. Of course, you can use the heaviness. It becomes useful for a dancer. It's very useful to work on heavy and light, no? But your mind is able to switch and to make your body relate to gravity. And relating to gravity is also psychological, no? Okay? So you could even use this emotion, and this is what we were talking about, the 3 cycles in the last masterclass 9, A9 and A10, and then A11. It's, I think I'm getting to A11 now. They are going to be about the cycles, the cycle of the dragon, which is transforming suffering, and the cycle of the 5, which is about transforming emotions, and the cycle of the mystery, which is about manifestation of a deep connection. Mystery meaning very simply something that we don't know, you know. That's why it's a mystery. And actually we never know, and we won't know it, because it's not, we're talking about a manifestation of things that we can feel from another kind of perception than the one that is explaining or trying to get explanations. So that's why it's mysteries. So just let go the idea it's going to be explained someday. But you can sing it, dance it, you can make poem. And you can also have a feeling like, actually lately, this few days, the orange trees, there's one here, there's an orange tree here, full of bees. All these buzzing of bees. It smells like orange flowers since a few days here. It's beautiful. So this mystery of the poetry, of what all poets touches us and they remain with us. Maybe very often, they were miserable all their life. Nobody gives a damn about them. And then centuries later, we're still talking about them and saying their poems and singing this poetry. Once upon a time, I always dream about that. We used to talk together by dancing and singing. I would tell you something, I would talk to you by singing. I wouldn't know what I'm going to do, I wouldn't know what I'm going to say. And that would be so nice to listen what you tell me. And I say, oh, take a coffee with me. Well, that's it. So the cycle of the transforming of suffering, which I was talking about, which is the first level, the first entering in the Dansa Duende network, and why I said Dharma. Because the Dharma of the Lord Buddha, the foundation of it is to know the suffering, and that's what the cycle of the dragon is about. So the project is not a Buddhist project, but actually it's really quite founded on the Buddha's proposals. Because I really believe the Buddha's proposals are extremely human and very directly in touch with contemporary, out of time, out of the box experiences. And so when you know the suffering, you get really to know almost everything about human beings. And also about every being, because that is a little bit the core of what human can give to the world, is a remedy to not the suffering itself only, but the processes that make us create suffering. Unlikely, sometimes we don't even notice we're doing that, or we don't even notice the thing that is even more incredible is that we are hooked into the process of creating suffering. It makes us feel ourselves a little bit more. Like that, we say, that is me, isn't it? Yeah, that's me. And so this cycle of the dragon, it has a lot of technique proposals to make our body, mind, and presence much stronger, not in the sense of getting full of myself, but more in the sense of getting free of my belief in what makes me weak. So it's not the theory, it's no theory. It's really working with energy directly, with the feet, the knees, the bones, the blood, the breath, the heart, the brain, because the brain is everywhere in the body. So if I can, I got, actually when I was eating with these people who invited me, I told you now, this family, I got bitten by, a little bit bitten at the feet by a little bee. It's very strange because the bee, nobody saw the bee, only after they found the bee, and actually, unfortunately, they killed the bee. I didn't even have time to say anything. But that bee just gently went on my foot and bited me a little bit, and I suddenly felt something. And yeah, that was a little kiss of the bee on my foot, on my foot, excuse me. Yeah, so you're working with this this capacity to be present in your body to its roots. The roots is that it is always the body in relationship with earth, the sky, and the five elements. It is itself earth, sky, and the five elements. The body itself is that. Mm. So nature is not out of me. I am a piece of nature hanging around and thinking I'm not sometimes, no? But actually I'm truly, like if you think the nature, I miss the nature, just go and look at yourself in the mirror, that's the nature. Mm. So somehow it's true. Mm. So we train on that, and these trainings are all along. So you could be in the cycle of the dragon, which is very intense. It's like a ritual that is going to take like at least 6 days or 8 days to be done. But actually it's pointing out something that is very accurate, that then you have to be working on all the time, because we're always relating with the suffering and how do we deal with the suffering, but also how is it that our body is really in touch with that basic goodness. The basic goodness is not that good and bad are enemy, it's more something that is before the division between what we call good and what we call bad. So this is why it's so interesting that your body becomes positive in its habits, how you train your body to be healthy. Because you're learning that, wow, I have to go. This is incredible. We're getting invaded by some kind of, I don't know what this is. Wow, this is so interesting. I don't know what it is. Wow. Wow, this is in direct. You cannot see it, I don't have, it was a cloud of bees, I think. I think it's a cloud of bees. They just went. Okay, so I go on talking about this anyway. Maybe too much sunshine here. Okay, so yeah, the goodness, it's that the more your habit in your body are positive, and positive in the sense that it's able to, in the same time as we already talked about, have some control and have some really link with earth, sky, be easier deal with situation and to deal with emotions and to deal with everything, so that you can beyond this idea of good and bad. But we cannot go easy beyond good and bad as long as our mind is creating division all the time. What is the division? It's quite simple. The division is this thing of thinking I am something completely separated from everything that I call outside of myself. So this division always makes me feel like if I was a little bit something that is forever and is solid, as in it's autonomous, and I'm really not relating with the truth with it, which is that what I call myself is always, always, always changing very much since I was born. And so that I really at one point need to let go of this identification because of this perpetual, all the time changing. And so we work with energy, we work with sticks also. So the sticks is going to allow us to get also in touch with a lot of things, because when you work with the stick physically, it's very interesting. We always did that since the beginning. And we work with the Qigong of the Dragon as an inspiration to get able to activate the nervous system that can breathe through the bones. We're going to activate the breath and also our sense of whirling, the spinning. And then from there, from all of these different meditations and different situations, we enter into the knowing the suffering, like the Lord Buddha. And from there, as we create a situation that is accommodating each person's issues, then we can get into the sense of working with that energy instead of being a little bit victim, like being hurt. yes, we are sensitive, but we can work with all of this. We can like feel a sense of standing up, you know, like I said that in another video, like Bob Marley said, yeah, get up, stand up, get up for your rights. But in this case, your rights, it's about yourself, giving yourself the rights, the right. So the sense of celebration, it's automatically, actually, this is something automatically in humanity. When somebody in humanity is going to, I'm getting out of battery. When somebody in humanity is living very, very dramatic situations, then in order to transform this situation, automatically these people, they will very, very often create dances and singing and art and poetry that completely transcends the suffering. And that's why we usually love these, we love this kind of art very much. I'm going to end this because I cannot put my battery back to work without getting out this micro. Anyway, so I think I can just do another life later. Maybe I just end up saying that then the work with the energies are much more subtle. That's the cycle of the 5. And then the work with the mystery becomes once again very much about the body, how you work with your body, but your body is not anymore in the identification about a problem that would be personal, but much more in the sense of catching up with energies that are going beyond this thing of division and suffering. Okay, so much love. I hope this is working. And anyway, happy Easter to everybody. May you have the best eggs, chocolates, love, or maybe just have the best of being. Ciao, ciao.